Look at your man. Now back at me. Now look at this man. Now back at me. Your man's not me, but he could smell like me if he showered the same way I do.
Wait a minute. They're not paying us for this.
That's true. Anyways, what's going on, folks? Simply the best, GA West here with my main man, Captain Zorikh. Hope you've been appreciating all the videos we've been posting for the past few weeks in preparation for the big New York Submission Open Grappling Tournament. Well, today's the day, folks. We're actually going to watch what went down on that fateful June 19th day. Now, we've got the TV all set up, DVDs put in. Anything to say, Captain?
Let's roll the videotape.
Sounds good.
Or digital file, as the case may be.
Feeling the butterflies. It's my first time ever competing in submission grappling. It's a new world, new environment. Trained for a short amount of time to get ready for it, but I was pretty confident. We had drilled on a few particular things, so at this point in time I'm just thinking, okay, stick with what you know? Go over the things in my head that we drilled, and hopefully be able to get into a position to do them.
Every match starts with a handshake.
Yes, it's all about sportsmanship. And I start off with the handshake here, the referee's explaining the rules.
So what's your game plan so far?
So far, I'm just thinking, go over the things that we've done during all the training and execute to the best of my abilities. Which right here, I was thinking, front face lock, something we worked on quite a bit. So that's the first thing I was going for.
But it wasn't working.
It wasn't working. He was able to get out of it.
Now, at this point, I was trying to tell you to get on your knees.
Yes, unfortunately I did not put myself in a good position for that. I think tightness of my hips somewhat prevented me from getting myself into a good position on my knees. He was able to put me on my back here.
So now he's achieved a serious side mount on you.
Yeah, he has a side mount. Thankfully we did go over a lot of things to do from my back. So at this point I'm trying to prevent him from working his way around into a full mount or to be able to go for any sort of hold. And then at this point here it's okay, like how do I get out of this position? He faked one way, went the other, and he was able to get the full mount done.
So what's your game plan to get out of this position?
Well, the things we worked on were to, either be able to try to buck him up and over, or to be able to roll him over. There was a little bit of ignorance on my part to, I felt I was stronger than my opponent, and so I figured I could just muscle or power my way out of the situation. But as I quickly learned, it's not about that.
Now this is submission or only, so he doesn't get any points for being in any position.
Yeah, no points at all. This isn't like the pro wrestling game where if I was down for this long, the match would be over. But here, no, it's submission and submission only. The only way to win is to get your opponent to tap out, as they say.
That's right. Now, if it were the kind of grappling match that went for points, he would have scored points for the takedown, points for side mount, and points again for the full mount. Now here he's about to take your back.
Yeah, he's about to take my back. He's going for the rear naked choke. I felt that coming in. Something else that we worked on a lot. So I knew right away, I was like, okay, don't let him lock his forearm around my throat and fight out of his hole from there.
Now here, wait a minute. You could have tried to go for a half guard there. Did you notice that?
I did not notice that, no.
Your leg was almost underneath his leg. Had you simply opened it up and then wrapped it around, you could have gotten a half guard, which could have given you a better hold on it. But fortunately, he was pulling his arm around your neck, trying to choke you, but that eliminated his base. That enabled you to buck him over.
Exactly. But unfortunately, we were right by the wall, and as a result, we were broken up and started over.
So you managed to get him rolled over.
Rolled him over. Unfortunately, we went to the wall there, so we got split up. It put us back in the center of the ring into a similar position. And at this point now, I'm just thinking I need to escape his guard. I'm going over in my head the tactics needed of pressing down on his abdomen, raising my body up, and then getting myself in the proper position to be able to squeeze out his legs. Too bad it's not the cage. We've had him against the wall, we started throwing some strikes, but this isn't that type of competition.
That's right. Who knows? He could have gotten busted wide open and started bleeding.
I could, anything's possible, right? And but again, this is grappling, so there's no striking, so there's no worry of any sort of kicks or punches or anything like that. So here we go now. I'm on top of him, but I'm in his guard. At this point, I was just thinking I can definitely outpower him, and then I see his arm loose, and I thought I could go for a lot more of it. But unfortunately, being in his guard made it very difficult.
That's right, because he kept on lifting you off of your base.
Exactly, and as you see here, he's able to just completely roll me over.
Why did you put your knee in his butt crack like we told you to?
There were a lot of things going through my head at the time. I was just happy to be on top of him. I was thinking, okay, let me get out of this and let me get him in something. As you can see, see, I got really excited. I'm going with Funaro. I kind of forgot about everything else at that point. It's almost like television. I can get this thing in. Right about there, actually, I think right before he rolled me over, he must have butted heads. And what do you know? I do get busted open. I think we're going to get a good shot of that right here. There we go. A little trickle of blood down the side there.
A little hardcore action.
Exactly. A little reference to eat. Oh, wait, no, can't say that. Do not want to get sued.
Right, because this video is not sponsored by any pro wrestling organization that does now or ever currently used to exist, regardless of whether or not they were acquired by any other organization.
Exactly. And so here we go. You think, you take a look at the shot there, looks like everything's cleaned up. But unfortunately, the bleeding wouldn't stop. If this was a pro wrestling match, this would have been great. Because I would have been able to keep the blood going. But it actually took us a good amount of time.
Have you ever been busted wide open in a pro match?
Not in the forehead, no. Both my nose and mouth were busted open, but thankfully never my forehead. I'm too pretty for that, you know? So even though there are no strikes, there still is potential for injury and harm. That's why people should really train hard. Don't just go into these sort of things, not expecting something like this to happen, because it still can. And that's why kids shouldn't try it at home.
Yes, find a good place to train at. Make sure that any tournaments you enter are well organized.
Yes, as I was saying though, it was well organized, and so the referee saw the bleeding, stopped the fight immediately. And at this point now, he was telling me, I only had so much time to stop the bleeding, or I would have to forfeit the match. So I'm kind of not panicking, but I'm thinking, geez, okay, we got to really get this bleeding to stop because I don't want to lose by forfeit, not at this point. So yeah, we were trying to stop the blood. We were able to get some cleaning supplies and try to just, compress the bleeding. At this point here, my trainer Omar Ruiz from Twin Towers, at this point he's going around, he was trying to find me Vaseline, knowing that if we had that, that would gunk up the cut and stop the bleeding, at least enough to get back to the action.
Well, we were very concerned. We did want to be able to continue the match.
Yes, no, that was first and foremost going through my head at that point in time, because the referee did say, you have so much time to clean up the blood, otherwise you will have to forfeit the match. And I didn't come here and come this far just to lose by forfeit.
That's right.
You got a great shot there. You can see the blood's just soaking up through I believe that's toilet paper. Yeah, it was a small, tiny cut. It healed within a week. Very little scarring. I'm very thankful for that, knock on wood. But the bleeding just continued.
It was mingling with the sweat, probably. That's what kept it flowing.
Yes.
So yeah, you fight for real, you get a real injury.
Exactly. It's inevitable. And it just goes also to show the difference between submission grappling and professional wrestling. I have a very great respect for both sports, to be honest. But, especially here, having now competed in submission grappling, I have much greater respect for it than I had previously.
Whereas in the pro wrestling game, having blood streaming down your face can be a good part of the show. In grappling, there is a very real concern for transmission of disease through open wounds.
It's not that there's not that concern in pro wrestling, but in pro wrestling everybody is tested and taken care of. Most states have an athletic commission that oversees that sort of thing. So yeah, it is what it is. WWE does have their new no blood policy. There's no bleeding allowed on shows anymore. And here we go. Here comes the Vaseline now. Looks like great. Let's clean this up. This was almost a Rocky-like moment for me, But the opposite, because Rocky got cut open so he could continue to fight. I needed to stop the cut, but still, I was like, ain't nothing over yet. Yes.
Okay, so we're back to the action here.
Back to the action. They again started in the center of the ring in a similar position. Start with the handshake, and here we go. So now at this point, he's going for my arm, so I'm just thinking, okay, don't let him get a hold, but he's able to pin it down. Now I'm thinking, okay, can I either get him off me and go for something else? But at the same time, I don't want him to be able to execute any sort of submission holds on me. He's going for a choke, the rear naked choke, so I try to block that. But now he's able to pin my arm, and I'm fearing he's going to go for the triangle choke. So I'm just doing my best to stay out of that.
Now, it's possible that if you'd been able to get a hook on his right arm with your left arm underneath his leg and a good buck, you could have put him over your shoulder.
Fortunately, the second to last buck there actually put him in a better position on top of me, higher up. And he's now trying to isolate one of my arms. Now here he's going for the Funaro on me. I see it coming, so I block it. He's able to pin my arm down again. And again, I'm thinking he's trying to go for the triangle. I see where his legs are placed, and that's my biggest concern. But now at this point, I see where he's grabbing, and I know he's going for the arm bar. But he was smart. He did something actually that we went over in class, Twin Towers. Go for one thing, if it doesn't work, go for another, then go back to that first thing. And that's exactly what he's doing here. So at this point, I'm trying to keep my arms away from him altogether. I wrap around him, and I think I can barrel roll him through. But that allows him to just keep a solid base, and we get nowhere. So I again have to try to take him off his balance, thus putting myself in a vulnerable position. But it's the only way in my head I can think of to actually get him off of me.
That's right. When you're not holding onto his arms, he's able to post up on his arms.
Again, the power and strength doesn't matter. It's all about technique.
Grab his wrist. Pull his support out.
You're in trouble now.
I'm in trouble now. He's going for that armbar. I see it coming. You see, I try to grab my own hands, try to prevent it, but he's got it in too tight, too deep. He's got his ankle right around my throat, and that's all she wrote.
Now you see, when you turn to the right to avoid the Kimura, that left you open for the armbar.
Exactly. And it goes to show, the technique, where technique, I guess, comes into play and how much it comes into play. And it's at this point here, he starts going for the armbar. I feel it coming. I try to fight it off. Try to reach for my own hand, block it, but he's got it in too deep. I try to stretch out, but no, eventually it was either that or have my shoulder broken. And, I'm not going to have my shoulder broken in my first fight for no money.
There was more pain in the shoulder than in the elbow?
Oh, definitely.
So the referee raises his hand, and that's the match.
That is that. It was a great learning experience, though, I got to give it up to my opponent. He did a great job. And it's my first fight, so all in all, I'm not extremely disappointed with myself. Moderately, but not extremely.
Okay, well, you didn't have much time to rest before your next match came up, so let's see how that goes.
Sounds good.